In the beginning, the legendary hero defeats the Demon King and enters the Hero Academy as an ordinary student. Starts in a week. The school looks dark and empty. He walks down the hall looking at his bloody sword, and thinks about all the people he's killed along the way, where he meets Sophie, who tells him that she always wanted to fight him. Death wonders if he can defeat him if he can't hold his power. He uses his power to stop time, and stabs the blade 3 times. But when he steps back, he finds that the blade isn't moving at all. He doesn't understand. Why couldn't he hit him? The blade says he can attack him a few times, but if his attacks don't hurt him, he pushes him against the wall, and says he used a trick to make his body temporarily stronger. And the knife worked the time trick because he stopped. Then he thrusts his sword into his stomach, and wonders why he is doing this even though he is a commoner, and now he street ends up and yells at the king to stop. What is happening because it is all a trick or magic to the king thinks it appears as a hologram to show that it's not a trick, it's virtual reality. I see what you did there. I'm king, I'm happy with this new technology. And I say use the blade's true power because no one gets hurt, does not the demon lord. And see, you are having the time of their lives fighting each other. The king also said that this is the best way to practice in the real world. So his goal is to use this technology to help students improve their skills so that they can fight until they reach virtual reality. Death Knife says it's a joke, and asks if there's no way to tell what's real and what's not. He thinks it's too real, and some people still think it is, in virtual reality, when they return to the real world, and think that his fate can kill his friends. The king realizes that this will be a problem, and pulls the lever. When you move the lever, Von Alice becomes a scene from Wonderl, and then the king tells them to keep fighting until someone dies in this new place. This is real battle royale, and the last man can use virtual reality, but what they want is yes. Even if you don't have much, you can finally meet. Choices. Blade wants this to be over as soon as possible. Leonard is happy to finally face Ernest, only to be cut in half. Times after Leo goes away, she moves, and starts to wonder where Blade is. He was just walking around, and talking about our boy while he watched Jessica and Claire fight 2 guys. All of the guys are happy because the 2 never beat them when they were still poor, so this is a pretty simple job. The girls won't give up, and Jessica wants to know why the guy won't let them win. The boys feel embarrassed because you know what's going through their minds, and Jessica uses this to attack and beat them. One of the boys, Claire, hits the other one, and they finally beat them for the first time. But there's a problem. Ernest is there dragging her sword, and happy that Blade is there. She says that killing other people is fun. First she couldn't control how much she weighed, and now she can't control how crazy she feels. She thinks it's stupid that she's been holding back all this time. Blade then remembers that he told her he would kill her if she ever left go crazy. Just one swing of his sword destroys everything around him. Ernest tries to fight him, but Blade swings his sword randomly to make a wind current that stops her. Blade wakes up seconds later in the real world where everyone is staring at him. The king laughs and says that as expected, Blade is the only one left. At the end, Jessica and Claire have no idea what the hell he did, but at least they didn't feel any pain. Ernest is crying like a little girl because she can't believe she went full psycho mode inside. Blade makes fun of her even more when he says that she was laughing like a bad guy even though he says he's normal. She tells him to shut up because he's too weak. The king keeps laughing because he thinks that his great idea is making them feel like kids again, but Ernest complains about the trouble they have had because of this as expected. The king keeps laughing. Blade is as unreliable as hell. Blade walks up to the king and starts messing around with the VR system. The king tells him to enjoy his gift until he notices Blade's actions. Blade is putting in information about dangerous demons, making floors full of traps, and all that other stuff you'd expect in the end of the world. Blade then turns on the system, and the king asks if those settings are too extreme for him. The man tells him it's fine, and puts the virtual reality system on the king's head. Then he tells the king's helper to bring him back to life every time the king dies. Blade tells her to keep the king's punishment until nighttime, when she asks how long it should last, except for the 2 guys who were facing Jessica and Claire. The students start to leave the area. They are in fact very sad in the virtual world. The king can't believe what he's seen. There are a lot of demons taking in his face during meals. Jessica and Claire ask the boys why they are sad. Ernest asks what happened, and Blade tells him that the girls beat them. Ernest asked him why the girls won. Blade says that Claire got better, and Jessica went all out. The boys lost because they were weak, and thought they were stronger. What they learned. Blade checks a pamphlet a few days later, which says that the king has decided to build a hot spring. His friends and he decide to go there, and meeting Dion. They are curious because they don't know what it is, but Dion tells them they'll find out when they get inside. It's a hot spring concoction, so they have to wear their swimsuits. But there is a detail: these hot springs are mixed, both men and women can pass. Now you're seeing where this is going. Right while everyone was enjoying The hot springs Ernest was the only one who didn't want to take off her towel out of embarrassment. For the boys to see her, I wish it was only that, because what happens next is horrible. Gil appears showing all his "Hey, I know this is only going to be seen by like 20 people. But I don't want to get knocked down, so we're going to go pretty fast." Jill wants to see Ernest scantily clad, and invokes the support of the kids who were present. As this didn't work even, he thought of modifying the constitution so that people cannot use a towel in the hot springs. Ernest flatly refuses, and asks for the support of the girls. However, Jessica tells him that there is nothing new in that, since they have seen her naked when she turns in this demon, and the pressure that everyone puts on Ernest to take off his towel is increasing until he finally ends up taking off his towel, and tells Blake not to look at her too much, but Blake doesn't care. Jessica and Claire try to comfort these boys who have been sad since they lost in the simulation. Both boys accept that they lost due to lack of technique, and to finish them off, Claire apologizes for beating them. Well, they say that even though they only lost once, he doesn't understand them because he's never lost to a girl before. In fact, he's never lost to anyone. They say it's unbearable now because they don't want to lose to those girls because they look just like them. He doesn't know what those words really mean, but he says he likes them. The boys are shocked because they thought Ernest or Sophie likes him, but they end up eventually they understand and what it means. He tells Blade he likes everyone. He tries to explain one of them is interested in Claire, and the other is interested in Jessica. One of them says he likes Claire because she looks innocent, but she can also be cruel at times. The other guy still likes Jessica, and he likes how free she looks even though she said she belonged on the streets. Cu gets in through the window because she heard everything, and knows how to solve the problem. All they have to do is get stronger so that the girls will look up to them. She tells them that women like strong men, so all they need to do is train. The guys think this is a good idea, but they don't know how to get stronger, so when Cu tells them all they need is for Blade to train them, the girls on the other age and are having a good time, and giving Ernest even more cakes to eat. This girl has no way out, but then they start talking about how the other boys won't talk to them. Jessica doesn't understand and why they're acting this way, and Claire suggests that they lose to them the next time, but Sophie and Ernst think that won't work. Who do you think is back again? It looks like Cu out the window. She tells the girls that men like strong women, so if they get stronger, the boys will be all over them. Claire and Jessica tell they don't care about the boys' mission didn't work. Then Claire says to Jessica they should skip training so that the boys can get stronger, but Ernest won't let them over. The next few days, Blades watches over the boys as they train. Can someone tell me what the heck this is? After you finish the training, you can compete in another virtual reality. The boys promise that if they beat them, they will tell them how they feel. If they win, they go up against the girls right away. The referees are Ernest and Blade. Jessica runs in right away, and Claire comes after her. The guys are able to stop them and get the upper H, and on their counterattack, Ernest is interested and asks if Blade taught them how to use their fighting spirit, but he says that he showed them that they were already using it without realizing it. He then just taught them how to use elements. One of the guys attacks Jessica with wind and throws it at Claire, who hits her in the face. Jessica then turns her attention to the other. She uses ice to freeze it, and then hits it with lightning. This time the boys admit they were wrong and promise to get better. All the girls taught Jessica and Claire how to use the elements because Blade taught them. Ernest because he thinks Blade loves him, but he has no hope of telling Blade. He doesn't know what's going on.